The sky burned crimson and black, a hellscape of destruction that had once been Buenos Aires. Dr. Elena Rodriguez lay trapped beneath tons of collapsed concrete and twisted metal, her right leg pinned at an unnatural angle, blood seeping through her torn lab coat. The world around her was a symphony of destruction, distant explosions, the crackle of burning buildings, and the occasional haunting whistle of another incoming energy weapon. She had watched the initial attack from the observation deck of her quantum research facility. The Cryaxian ships appeared like obsidian daggers against the morning sky, their weapon systems charging with an eerie blue-white light. At first, most had believed it was some elaborate military exercise. Then the first strikes hit. Energy weapons capable of liquefying entire city blocks vaporized government buildings, military installations, and civilian centers with terrifying precision. Electromagnetic pulses followed, turning every electronic system into nothing more than expensive paperweights. Biological agents dispersed through the atmosphere completed the trilogy of extinction, ensuring that even those who survived the initial assault would soon succumb to engineered plagues. Elena's ears rang from the last explosion. Her fingers, covered in dust and blood, clutched a piece of rebar, her only potential weapon. That's when she heard it. A wet, labored breathing that wasn't human. The Cryaxian scout had crashed through the facility's lower levels during the assault. Nearly 3 meters tall, its exoskeleton a complex mesh of biomechanical armor, the creature looked like a nightmare born from the intersection of insect and machine. One of its multiple eyes was punctured, green-black fluid leaking from the wound. The other eyes, a kaleidoscope of predatory intelligence, scanned the room. Elena knew she should be terrified. Instead, a scientist's curiosity mixed with pure survival instinct took over. The alien carried a personal communication device and a data tablet, technologies far beyond anything humanity had ever developed. With a movement that surprised even herself, Elena gripped the rebar and waited. The Cryaxian's movement was sluggish, wounded from its crash. When it moved closer, she struck. The metal rod punctured a vulnerable joint in its exoskeleton, and the creature collapsed with a sound between a screech and a mechanical groan. Breathing heavily, Elena dragged herself closer to the fallen alien. Her leg was definitely broken, but adrenaline and determination pushed her forward. The communication device gleamed, alien script scrolling across its surface. With trembling hands, she extracted the device and the data tablet. What she didn't know then, but would soon discover, was that this moment marked the beginning of humanity's resurrection. The Cryaxian Confederation believed they had completed a total extinction protocol. They believed Earth was nothing more than a smoking graveyard. They were wrong. As emergency systems in her lab's quantum communication array flickered to life, powered by a backup system the aliens had missed, Elena began to piece together her first understanding of the enemy. The data tablet revealed communication logs, strategic maps, and most importantly, the fundamental assumptions the Cryaxians had about human capability. They saw humanity as a primitive, fractured species, easy to eliminate, impossible to resist. Elena Rodriguez would prove them catastrophically wrong. Her first transmission, sent through a quantum entanglement communication channel she had been developing before the attack, was simple. Humanity is not dead. We are adapting. Outside, Buenos Aires burned. But in this moment, beneath tons of rubble, with an alien corpse beside her and stolen technology in her hands, Dr. Elena Rodriguez became the first spark of humanity's revenge. The apocalypse was not an ending. It was a beginning. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter had always been a place of scientific fascination. Now it would become the site of humanity's first true counterattack. Commander Jack Nakamura studied the holographic projection of the Cryaxian observation post. Outpost Sigma 9, a small installation, but critical to the alien Confederation's early warning systems. Intelligence gathered from Elena's decrypted data suggested it housed advanced sensor arrays and communication relays that tracked potential resistance movements across multiple star systems. "We're not just destroying a target," Nakamura briefed the strike team. "We're sending a message." The assault team was a testament to human adaptation. Miguel Santos, the former Brazilian Special Forces operative, would lead the ground insertion. Dr. Liu Wei's hybrid technology team had modified a stolen Cryaxian stealth ship to bypass their most advanced detection systems. Marcus Green would manage real-time communication disruption, ensuring their approach remained undetected. Their ship, christened the Prometheus, was nothing like traditional human spacecraft. Its hull was a patchwork of salvaged alien technology and human innovation. Adaptive camouflage systems developed by Alina's team could alter the ship's electromagnetic signature, making it virtually invisible to Cryaxian sensors. As they approached the asteroid belt, the tension was palpable. Each crew member carried the weight of humanity's first hope after near-total extinction. The approach was surgical. Prometheus moved like a ghost, using the asteroids as cover, its quantum communication systems constantly shifting and adapting. When they finally reached visual range of Outpost Sigma 9, it looked like a metallic tumor attached to a massive asteroid. All sharp angles and defensive weapon ports. "Targeting systems online," Dr. Liu reported, her fingers dancing across a hybrid control interface that merged Cryaxian precision with human creative algorithms. Santos prepared for insertion. His combat suit was a marvel of biotechnological engineering. Alien energy absorption systems integrated with human muscle enhancement technologies. Where a standard Cryaxian soldier would be limited by rigid combat protocols, Santos moved with an unpredictability that would become humanity's greatest weapon. The first strike came not from weapons, but from Marcus's communication warfare. Suddenly, the outpost's internal communication networks became a maze of contradictory orders and fabricated emergency protocols. Cryaxian personnel began to turn on each other, confusion spreading faster than any physical weapon could. Santos and his team used this moment of chaos. Breaching charges, developed from reverse-engineered alien explosive technologies, cut through the station's hull like it was paper. They moved with a precision that was both terrifying and beautiful, neutralizing defensive systems before the Cryaxians could fully comprehend the attack. Nakamura watched from the Prometheus's command deck, his cybernetic eye tracking every movement. This was more than a military operation. This was a statement. When the assault was complete, they left something behind. A carefully crafted message, broadcast on all Cryaxian communication frequencies. It was simple, yet devastating. "We are not dead. We are not defeated. This is just the beginning." The total destruction of Outpost Sigma 9 would take hours to fully register in the Cryaxian command structure. But the psychological impact was immediate. For the first time, the alien confederation would know that humanity was not only alive but was coming for them. As Prometheus disappeared into the asteroid belt, leaving no trace of its attack, Commander Nakamura allowed himself a rare smile. The hunt had begun. The quantum communication lab resembled a cathedral of chaos. Holographic displays flickered with alien scripts and human-modified algorithms, creating a mesmerizing dance of information. Marcus Green stood at the center, his fingers moving like a concert pianist across multiple interfaces, orchestrating a symphony of disinformation that would shake the Cryaxian Confederation to its core. "It's not about what we say," Marcus explained to Alina Rodriguez, who watched with scientific fascination. "It's about what they think we're saying." The breakthrough came from understanding the fundamental difference between human and Cryaxian communication. Where Cryaxian networks relied on absolute certainty and hierarchical information flow, human communication was fluid, adaptive, almost organic. Their first major operation targeted the Cryaxian military's internal communication networks. Marcus and his team began by introducing subtle inconsistencies, minor discrepancies in mission reports, phantom communication channels that seemed to hint at massive troop movements, fabricated intelligence reports that suggested internal rebellions in multiple star systems. In the Cryaxian command structure, doubt became a virus. High-ranking military leaders began receiving contradictory intelligence reports. Communication logs suggested massive troop movements that didn't exist. Strategic planning sessions devolved into heated arguments as commanders questioned each other's competence and loyalty. Alina's quantum entanglement communication systems allowed them to plant these seeds of confusion with unprecedented precision. Each message was crafted to exploit the Kryaxian belief in absolute technological superiority. They didn't just intercept communications, they rewrote the very fabric of alien information exchange. On the Kryaxian homeworld, the first signs of internal collapse began to emerge. Military tribunals were convened. Commanders were accused of incompetence, of failing to manage what was supposed to be a simple extermination protocol. The very civilization that had believed itself invincible began to turn inward, consuming itself with suspicion. Commander Nakamura watched the developing situation with a strategist's eye. "We're not just fighting a war," he told the resistance leadership. "We're dismantling an entire civilization's sense of reality." The psychological warfare extended beyond communication networks. Carefully planted false flag operations suggested that defeated species across the galaxy were rising in rebellion. Kryaxian colony worlds received fabricated transmissions of massive uprising movements, each message designed to exploit their deepest fears. Marcus's team became digital ghosts, their human unpredictability transforming into a weapon more devastating than any physical assault. They created entire false communication ecosystems, entire networks of fictional resistance movements, phantom military units, elaborately constructed lies that bore the hallmarks of truth. In one particularly audacious operation, they fabricated an entire star system's worth of resistance communication, complete with detailed military protocols, fictional battle reports, and manufactured historical context. The Kryaxian intelligence agencies would spend months trying to unravel a completely fictional resistance movement. Dr. Aisha Kwizi developed quantum encryption methods that made their communications virtually undetectable. Each message was a quantum-entangled puzzle, impossible to fully intercept or decode using traditional Kryaxian technologies. The resistance understood something fundamental that the Kryaxians had overlooked. Information is more than data. It's perception, it's reality. As the psychological warfare intensified, the Kryaxian military began to fracture. Commanders were executed for supposed incompetence. Entire fleet deployments were recalled based on fabricated intelligence. The most technologically advanced civilization in the known galaxy was being undone by human creativity. "We're teaching them the most important lesson," Alina said, watching another layer of fabricated communication spread across alien networks. "Absolute certainty is the greatest weakness." Nakamura nodded, his cybernetic eye scanning the multiple holographic displays. "We're not just fighting a war, we're rewriting the rules of conflict." The resistance had transformed from survivors to strategists, from a nearly extinct species to the most dangerous, unpredictable force in the galaxy. Each fabricated message, each quantum-encrypted transmission was a declaration. Humanity was not just alive. Humanity was evolving. And the Kryaxian Confederation was about to learn the most painful lesson of all. Never underestimate a species fighting for its survival. The underground shipyard beneath the Rocky Mountains was a cathedral of human determination. Massive caverns, once designed as Cold War-era military bunkers, now housed humanity's ultimate weapon of revenge, the Liberation Fleet. Each ship was a testament to human ingenuity and survival. Where traditional spacecraft followed rigid design principles, these vessels were living organisms of technology. Adaptive, unpredictable, born from the fusion of human creativity and stolen alien engineering. The flagship, christened Prometheus Ascendant, was Commander Jack Nakamura's masterpiece. Its hull was a complex lattice of materials that could shift molecular structure on demand. Alien energy capacitors, reverse-engineered and enhanced by Dr. Lu Wei's team, powered systems that defied conventional physics. The ship didn't just move through space, it danced. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood on the command deck, her fingers tracing holographic interfaces that merged quantum computing with intuitive human design. Around her, a crew selected not just for their technical skills, but for their ability to think beyond established paradigms. Miguel Santos oversaw tactical operations. His team included survivors from every continent, each bringing a unique perspective, a different way of solving problems. A Brazilian Special Forces operative worked alongside a Chinese quantum physicist, an Australian communications expert, and a Kenyan biomechanical engineer. The fleet was more than a military force. It was humanity's evolutionary response to near extinction. Final system checks. Nakamura commanded, his cybernetic eye scanning multiple overlapping information streams. The ships of the Liberation Fleet began to synchronize, not through rigid communication protocols, but through a quantum-entangled network that allowed for instantaneous, intuitive coordination. Their first target was strategic, not the Cryaxian homeworld, but a critical communication and logistics hub that controlled multiple star systems. Intelligence gathered through Marcus Green's psychological warfare operations had revealed its vulnerability. As they prepared to jump into faster-than-light travel, something unprecedented happened. The ships began to communicate in a way no alien technology could comprehend. It wasn't just data exchange. It was a living, breathing strategic consciousness. Dr. Liu Wei's most radical innovation became apparent. The ships weren't just machines. They were extensions of human will, capable of adapting in ways the Cryaxians could never predict. The jump into faster-than-light space was unlike any known method of space travel. Where Cryaxian ships moved in predictable quantum tunnels, the Liberation Fleet seemed to fold space itself, moving through reality like a thought moves through consciousness. Their approach to the target system was a masterpiece of misdirection. Holographic decoys, quantum-entangled communication ghosts, and adaptive camouflage systems made their true numbers and capabilities impossible to determine. The first engagement was over before the Cryaxian defensive systems could fully comprehend what was happening. Prometheus Ascendant moved like liquid mercury, its weapon systems rewriting the very principles of space combat. Energy weapons that would normally take minutes to recharge were now firing in complex, unpredictable patterns. Nakamura's strategy was brutal in its simplicity. Don't just defeat the enemy, make them question the fundamental nature of reality. Entire Cryaxian defensive platforms were disabled not through brute force, but through surgical precision. Communication networks were shattered. Defensive systems turned against themselves. The hub, a critical nexus of Cryaxian military infrastructure, was rendered completely inoperable within minutes. But they left something behind. A message broadcasted across all frequencies. We are humanity. We are the species you tried to destroy, and we are just getting started. As the Liberation Fleet disappeared from the system, leaving behind only quantum-encrypted chaos, the Cryaxian military command would spend weeks trying to understand what had just happened. Humanity had transformed from a species on the brink of extinction to the most dangerous variable in the galaxy. The space near the Cryaxian homeworld crackled with an energy that defied comprehension. Hundreds of thousands of kilometers of void became a canvas of human defiance, a battlefield that would redefine galactic warfare. Prometheus Ascendant led the Liberation Fleet, its hull now a living testament to human adaptation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the command center, her hands moving across quantum interfaces that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. Commander Jack Nakamura's cybernetic eye calculated possibilities faster than any alien computer could process. The Cryaxian defensive grid was a marvel of technological engineering. A network of energy shields, quantum interdiction fields, and automated weapon platforms that had crushed countless civilizations. It was considered impenetrable, absolute, unbreakable. They would soon learn the meaning of human determination. The first wave of attack was psychological. Marcus Green's communication warfare team unleashed a cascade of quantum-encrypted signals that turned the Cryaxian defensive network into a maze of conflicting instructions. Entire sections of their defensive grid began to fight against themselves, weapon platforms rotating to target their own supporting systems. Miguel Santos led the first physical insertion. His team of hybrid augmented soldiers moved through space in ways that violated every known principle of combat. Where a Kriaxian soldier would move in precise, predictable lines, these humans danced, unpredictable, adaptive, impossible to track. Dr. Liu Wei's most radical innovation became apparent. The Liberation Fleet's ships were no longer just machines. They were living extensions of human will, capable of molecular reconfiguration that made traditional defensive systems obsolete. A Kriaxian energy weapon would lock onto a ship, only to have that ship literally reshape its molecular structure, rendering the targeting systems useless. Alina's quantum cascade weapon, the ultimate technological marvel, powered up. Developed from the very alien technology that had nearly destroyed Earth, it was a weapon that could unravel atomic bonds at a fundamental level. But it was more than a weapon of destruction. It was a statement. "Target acquired," she announced, her voice calm despite the enormity of the moment. The weapon fired. It wasn't a conventional energy blast. It was a quantum-level disruption that propagated through the Kriaxian defensive network like a living virus. Entire sections of their most advanced technology simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but fundamentally unmade. Nakamura's strategy was total, not just military defeat, but a complete dismantling of the Kriaxian civilization's sense of technological superiority. Each ship in the Liberation Fleet moved with a collective intelligence that was uniquely human, adaptive, creative, completely unpredictable. The Kriaxian military commanders watched in horror as their most advanced defensive systems collapsed. These weren't just military losses. These were fundamental breaches of everything they understood about technological warfare. In the heart of their most secure command center, the Kriaxian leadership realized the true nature of their mistake. Humanity was not just another species to be eliminated. Humanity was an evolutionary wildcard that defied every established galactic principle. As the battle reached its climax, Alina broadcast a message that would be remembered throughout the galaxy. "We are not who you thought we were. We are something entirely new." The Kriaxian homeworld lay exposed. Their defensive network, once considered the most advanced in known space, was nothing more than a smoking ruin. The Liberation Fleet had done more than win a battle. They had rewritten the very rules of galactic conflict. Humanity had transformed from a nearly extinct species to the most dangerous evolutionary force in the universe. The aftermath of the confrontation was more complex than any simple victory. Humanity stood at a crossroads of galactic significance, with the fate of entire civilizations hanging in the balance. In the days following the collapse of the Kriaxian defensive network, Dr. Alina Rodriguez found herself in the most unexpected of roles. Chief diplomat of a species that had been hours away from total extinction just months before. The Quantum Communications Center aboard Prometheus Ascended had become a nexus of negotiation, a delicate interface between human determination and galactic survival. Commander Jack Nakamura stood beside her, his cybernetic systems analyzing every microscopic detail of the incoming communications. The Kriaxian leadership, what remained of it, was not sending demands. They were sending pleas. The intelligence gathered during their psychological warfare and military campaign revealed a truth far more complex than a simple invasion. The Kriaxian Confederation was itself a desperate entity, caught in a multi-species conflict that threatened the entire galactic power structure. Their attack on Earth had been a preemptive strike, driven by fear of humanity's potential rather than pure conquest. They didn't just want to destroy us, Alina explained to the Resistance leadership. They were terrified of what we could become. The negotiations were unlike any in galactic history. Humanity didn't seek total destruction or unconditional surrender. Instead, they proposed something far more radical, a cooperative restructuring of the existing galactic order. Miguel Santos, now leading diplomatic operations, crafted a proposal that was part threat, part opportunity. The surviving Cryaxian leadership would be integrated into a new collaborative governance structure. Their advanced technologies would be shared. Their military capabilities would be redirected toward collective survival. Dr. Lu Wei's technological innovations became the cornerstone of this new approach. The quantum communication and adaptive technologies developed during humanity's fight for survival would be offered as a collaborative platform. Species across multiple star systems would be invited to participate in a new form of galactic cooperation. Marcus Green's communication strategies transformed from warfare to diplomacy. Each transmission was carefully crafted to demonstrate humanity's capacity for both destruction and mercy, for vengeance and understanding. The first wave of negotiations was tense. Representatives from multiple alien species watched carefully, expecting humanity to exact brutal revenge. Instead, they witnessed something unprecedented. A species that had been nearly destroyed offering a path to collective survival. Nakamura's final broadcast to the assembled galactic representatives was simple yet profound. We were not seeking revenge. We were seeking evolution. The Cryaxian homeworld became a test case for this new approach. Instead of occupation, humanity proposed reconstruction. Their advanced technologies would help rebuild the devastated civilization, but with fundamental changes to its hierarchical and militaristic structure. Alina's quantum cascade weapon, the ultimate instrument of potential destruction, was transformed into a tool of reconstruction. Its underlying principles became the basis for advanced terraforming and energy generation technologies that could benefit multiple species. As the negotiations concluded, humanity had done more than survive. They had fundamentally altered the trajectory of galactic civilization. A mysterious signal from deep space suggested that the Cryaxian attack was merely the first wave of a much larger threat. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had become its most unpredictable, most adaptive force. The hunt was far from over. It was just beginning.